You're listening to the Amazing Facts Daily Devotional. Today's topic: bowing the knee. The largest and most complicated joint in the human body is the knee. It is a mobile pivotal hinge joint that permits flexation and extension. It is capable of slight turns that change the whole movement of the rest of the body. At birth, babies do not have a conventional kneecap, but a growth form of cartilage. It becomes a normal kneecap for girls at an age of 3 and for boys at an age of 5. It is much easier to reach the ground when you're kneeling. Bending over to pick up an object on the floor can stress your lower back. If you spend a couple of hours weeding your garden by bending over, you would feel the horrible results the next morning. Kneeling also demonstrates submission, reverence, and obedience. Humility can be demonstrated by a kneeling posture. The Apostle Paul writes, "Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. He humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death, even the death of the cross." Philippians 2, verse 5 and 8. Paul practiced humility himself by referring to himself as the least of the apostles in 1 Corinthians 15, verse 9. It took great humility for Christ to take the form of a bondservant and come in the likeness of man. Philippians 2, verse 7. On a visit to the Beethoven Museum in Bonn, a young American student became fascinated by the piano on which Beethoven had composed some of his greatest works. She asked the museum guard if she could play a few bars on it. She accompanied the request with a lavish tip, and the guard agreed. The girl went to the piano and tinkled out the opening of the Moonlight Sonata. As she was leaving, she said to the guard, "I suppose all the great pianists who come here want to play on that piano." The guard shook his head. "Paderewski, a famed Polish pianist, was here a few years ago and said he wasn't worthy to touch it." It is much easier to reach God when you are kneeling. Bow on your knees before the Lord today and remember who is the most worthy of praise. Our key Bible text today comes from Ephesians 3, verse 8. "Unto me, who am less than the least of all saints, is this grace given, that I should preach among the Gentiles the unsearchable riches of Christ." Thank you for listening to the Amazing Facts Daily Devotional.